How much fun is it, though, to bounce back in with a performance like that offensively when things just click right away?
It was a tough week like I had talked about last week, kind of pointing inwards. Guys did that from top to bottom, players and staff. And I think the big thing was just how pivotal of a moment that was as a team. You run into adversity every year, and believe me, we're going to run into more. It was a great way to grow. Of course, we didn't want to lose that game, but we came in with a great mindset into the work week, and the coaches put us in a great position offensively, and the defense did a fantastic job of getting some turnovers. And we played complementary football. I think last week we weren't able to do that, and that showed. And much better feeling. Still some work to do, but a very tough divisional opponent. To be able to come out with a win in MetLife is it's great.
Mitch, we spent a lot of time this week, talking to your teammates and your coaches about being more effective in the run game. And albeit it's one game, but did you see your team turn a corner a little bit with that area today?
Yeah, I think you prefaced it the proper way. It's one game. But yeah, you definitely want to take that step in the right direction. I think there was still some yards we left on the field. But it's a great way to progress. We'll learn from our mistakes today in the run game. It was a great opportunity to mix it up a little bit, and hopefully we can continue to run effectively so that they can have some confidence in us being able to accumulate some yards and put us in some optimal positions instead of some second and longs or third and longs.
What did Matt Breida show you? I mean, it's been a while since he was active on game day, and to contribute the way he did, what were your impressions of his game?
Yeah, Matt's one of my favorite dudes. Comes into work. Probably hasn't played as much as he'd like, but he's a fantastic teammate and runs hard. And we see that in practice, and we see that in the preseason. We've seen that in the games he's been active. And love Matt Breida. Love all of our running backs. We feel very comfortable with who we have back there. Sometimes we mess up, and our running backs do a great job of making us right. So that was fun.
Spencer Brown had a couple of big blocks, pancake-type blocks on the runs. He's a young guy, but what does he bring to you guys when he's back in the lineup?
He's just so full of youthful vigor. Spencer Brown is going to be a special football player. I think as a rookie, there's always stuff to learn from, minor things, some big, some part of it comes with just experience. The guy hadn't played football last year, and now he's coming in and stepping in a pretty big position. And I thought he's played admirably. He's got poise beyond his years as a rookie. I'm sure like everyone he'd say there's plenty to work on, right? But we feel very comfortable with who we have as an offensive line, and Spencer Brown being back in the lineup definitely helps, but not to say that other guys can't step in and do that job. Spencer's been really playing good football, and hopefully we can all continue to grow, especially him.
What's it like in a week like that where, as a group, I mean, you guys put it on yourselves a lot last week. I mean, we talked to you on Sunday, and then, throughout the week, a couple of you guys. What's that process like when you're part of a team and it feels like maybe you're kind of owning a lot of the brunt of the responsibility for it?
I mean, no one grows up wanting to be an offensive lineman, right? We've been disappointed our whole football career starting from when we were Pee Wee players. That being said, I think anyone who watched the film last week knows that, as professionals, no matter what's being called, you take pride in executing what the coordinators put out there. So there was no pointing fingers on play calls as much as it was when your number's called, you have to execute, and we didn't do a very good job of that. And, there's still some things even today plenty to correct, and it's a beautiful part of this game. It's very frustrating as well. But when you give Josh time, when you give running backs lanes, they can make stuff happen. When we don't, that's when negative plays happen, and that's when it puts us in third and longs. And Lord knows these defenses now are just dialing up some insane stuff that's pretty hard to block. So for us, it's just putting our offense in more, it's just in better positions.
Not really too fair. A lot of the responsibility, not a lot of the glory. But I guess that's tale as old as time.
Yeah, tale as old as time, pal. That's okay. That's all right.
Mitch, not to belabor last week, but you used the word sense of urgency after the Jacksonville loss. Does all of kind of what you just described, how did that apply today? Does that translate?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like football seasons is just one big sense of urgency. This is this one thing this team does. There has to be a sense of urgency if they're exploiting something. So say right now we're not blocking games well enough. There's a sense of urgency to clean that up, to keep our quarterback clean. So, I think if we wanted to, like I said before, if we want the play callers to have confidence in calling runs per se, there's a sense of urgency to make these things hit. And it's not always going to be pretty. Sometimes it's just about effort. And so we did a lot of soul searching last week. And there's still a sense of urgency for sure, because we have a lot of football left and some great opponents.